What's up guys, in today's video we're going to be talking about 10 things that poor people do that the rich don't. Just a disclaimer, this video isn't intended to offend anyone, it's just a way for you guys to get some insight on the difference between the habits of the rich and the poor, and for you to implement any information that you may find useful for yourself. Let's get straight into it. Spending endless hours on entertainment. How many people do you know that are always at home watching TV and playing video games, disconnecting themselves from their problems and reality, and just procrastinating for hours on end? Essentially what they're doing is investing a large portion of time into something that isn't going to help them achieve their milestones and goals in life. It serves as a distraction and prevents them from progressing further with their goals. Watching your favorite TV shows and playing video games is fine as long as you have your priorities straight and you don't allow yourself to get too comfortable. A successful person will ensure that all their daily tasks are done before they allow themselves to have any sort of leisure time, whereas poor people invest a lot of their time into meaningless things rather than pursuing their goals. Eating unhealthy and having a bad diet. Most poor people aren't educated on the nutritional value that food has and what the body requires for its functions. Rich people know how important it is to eat healthy, and how what they eat and drink on a daily basis will massively impact their health and well-being throughout the rest of their lifespans. Not only does eating unhealthy increase the possibility for future health problems, but it also deprives you of energy, which means you'll be less productive throughout the day. Just think about how bloated, slow and sluggish you feel when you've had a meal that consists of a lot of oily foods. Rich people ensure that their diet is healthy, because they know that the food that they eat will affect their energy levels, productivity and overall health and well-being. Another difference between the rich and the poor is that poor people tend to have bad sleeping patterns and wake up late throughout the day, whereas rich people sleep on time and also wake up on time. The most productive period throughout the day for an individual is usually throughout the early hours of the morning. This is when your mind is fresh and is ready to handle the most difficult tasks for the day. Having an irregular sleeping pattern and waking up late in the day is proven to be counterproductive. Having a good sleeping pattern will ensure that you are as efficient as possible with your time and get as much work done as you can throughout the day. This means you are wasting less time sleeping and investing more time on achieving your goals. Another bad habit that poor people tend to usually have is that they blame everyone else but themselves for their failures, instead of looking at themselves and figuring out where they went wrong. These people are usually miserable and hopeless. They are usually lazy and always procrastinating, lack motivation and have already given up before exhausting all of their options, and always find excuses instead of solutions. Which brings me on to the next point, which is that poor people usually lack accountability for themselves. They believe that something or someone else will fix their problems and that they will magically disappear. They don't acknowledge their own faults or their flaws, and therefore don't take the initiative to improve their situation. This tends to be the opposite when it comes to rich and successful people, who hold themselves accountable for their actions and take the initiative and acknowledge their faults and work on improving on them. This helps them grow and develop as individuals and helps them get further in life, as they are always adapting to their circumstances and rising to the occasion. You will witness yourself perform better when you take yourself out of your comfort zone, holding yourself accountable and putting yourself under pressure to perform and improve. Not having any savings available. Due to having poor money management, poor people usually do not have any savings available. This means that they do not have any money set aside for a rainy day, and therefore if put in difficult circumstances, they must liquidate their assets and force a lifestyle change to be able to survive. They can also fall into debt, whereas in these circumstances, the rich people only risk losing their savings. Furthermore, when opportunities present themselves, poor are not able to make the most out of them due to a lack of funds, whereas rich people use this opportunity to invest their hard-earned money into something that will give them profitable returns. Therefore, it is important to have money set aside to serve as a safety net in case anything does go wrong and you need immediate access to funds, and so that you could also benefit yourself if the opportunity does present itself and you have the spare funds set aside. Bad use of loans and credit for unnecessary things. Another bad habit of poor financial management that some poor people tend to have is that they take out loans and credit to spend on things that they don't need. Going shopping and buying things on impulse, spending unnecessary money on clothes, getting a car on finance, and wasting their money down their drain on things that are more of a liability rather than an investment, which leads to them being in unnecessary debt that could have been avoided if they had better discipline with the expenditure of their money. Rich and successful people only use loans and credit as a way to further develop their investment portfolio and use their money to create more money, spending money that they don't have. This relates to the last point. Poor people spend money before they get it, on unnecessary things that they don't need. Whereas successful people with good financial management have disciplined themselves to spend money only once they've earned it and have it as an available balance rather than spending it before payday. Poor people lack prioritization when it comes to their money expenditure. This means that they may end up being late on paying off their bills due to spending their money elsewhere. People with good financial management ensure that all of their bills are paid and their monthly costs are taken care of before they spend any money on things for themselves. This means having to deal with less financial stress and burden. Their circles consist of other poor people. This is a very important one. Let's get the definition straight. When we refer to poor people, we don't mean in terms of their financial assets or their bank balance. We are referring to their poor ambition, mentality and lack of motivation. When the people you are surrounded by the most are lazy and unmotivated, don't be surprised if you pick up the same habits from their negative influence on you. People that are successful and rich are usually surrounded by other people that are successful and rich. Their conversations consist of the next idea for a business move, how they can benefit themselves and those around them, and how they can further develop and improve as human beings. No idle talk about the opposite gender, or about the latest episode of Game of Thrones, or how much fun they've had on the weekend out. Being part of a group full of motivated and ambitious people working hard for success will push you to become better, do better and improve, whereas being around people that are unproductive and are living life aimlessly will prove to do the opposite. And so it's important that you are selective with the kind of people that you give your presence to and the kind of energy you allow yourself to be around, as this will play a major role in your future success or failure. Romanticizing ideas but lacking execution. How many people do you know that love talking about the great ideas that they have, the business moves that they plan on making, and the goals that they have for the future, but always fail to put in the work and actually achieve those goals that they've been talking about for ages? Poor people tend to have vision but always lack execution, whereas the rich speak their ideas into existence, create a business plan and then implement it. Even though some people do end up starting their business, they lack the consistency and motivation to follow the plan through till the end. They end up procrastinating and losing the motivation to stay consistent, whereas those who are successful adapt their lifestyle to ensure that they are completing their daily tasks in order to be en route to achieving their goals. And this focus and concentration on being consistent and being motivated is what helps them become successful. So therefore, when having business ideas and plans, it is important to be as realistic as possible and plan out the steps that you are going to take to achieve those goals. Hopefully you guys found the video useful and informative and you can implement some of the points that were mentioned. Make sure to comment below your thoughts on the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, as we will have more useful videos dropping soon. Until next time.